So here is how I would approach the focusing side of things. Focus. No sound effect for that one, but it would be cool if it was. First things first, the place. Look at your surroundings. Is it an ideal place to study? Have you got enough space to work efficiently? And is there anything near you that will limit your ability to focus? So for me, there's so many distractions. I mean, in this room here, there's like my Nintendo Switch over there. There's my phone here. I've got a bunch of cards that I play with. Don't ask about that. And I get really distracted by this. So sometimes when I'm really susceptible to doing that with my own personal work, I'll go out to a coffee shop or a library or just somewhere that is generally quiet and usually cheap or free. So there's also like the social expectation to not be there, like to be doing work. Sorry, because if you're not doing work and you're just like sitting down and TikTok your laptop out, everyone's like, do something. So I'm like the social pressure to do that as well. Anyway, you can go into like any coffee shop, by the way, and just say, "Can I have a glass of tap water?" And they'll go, "Sure." And then you sit there for 8 hours and then leave. That's fine. They probably won't ask you to leave. They could, but they probably won't. So you can make it affordable. I'll be honest, this entire thing that you're looking at now, all done in a table in Starbucks with a glass of water because I can't focus in here. Not on the weekends anyway. Stimulus. Do you prefer total silence when you're working, or do you prefer music? And do you have kind of food and drink handy whenever I'm leaving the workspace? For me, I've got a coffee, I've got water, hey, with this enormous cup that we stole from a concert. So try and find the things that stimulate you to work. For me, with music, I can't work in silence. It drives me insane because I get distracted by like little hums and like a car going by. I'm like a dog. My God. Anyway, I used to have like lo-fi Nintendo music. That's like my jam. Put that on, and I'm just like locked in. And coffee, and like usually some fruit and nuts, but I've not got anything here with me at the minute. So try find what is focusing. What's a good stimulus for you? What helps you focus and lock in? Time. Now, this is what we mentioned about previously. You've kind of got to make it work for you. So I'll show you my planner with what I do and how my time is kind of broken up. I struggled a lot with time management. In fact, like 3 weeks ago, like I made this. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong slide. There we go. After seeing it on a bit of piece of paper, there is quite a lot of time that I've got there. It's just kind of making the most of it. So hopefully that's coming up clear on your screens there. I've kind of broken down the sleeping thing because it was just taking up a third of it because that's what sleeping does. Every evening I'm pretty much free apart from one or two things. But most of the time there's a lot of free time there. So it's just kind of allocating what you're going to do and where. For me, weekends are just bliss because there's just so much time. You just need to allocate it in the best way possible for you. This, by the way, just done on Google Sheets. It's not nothing fancy. I literally just typed in 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. I just like dragged it down until it was like the time, and I put the days, and then I just color coded things to make it easy to see. It's not that taxing. It took me like 10 minutes to make. Just to clarify, it can be done. It's not as scary as it looks on the first one. So remove distractions. Phones, leave them in another room. This, I needed it because I was doing the talk today. This would have been in my bedroom and just out of the way because I get distracted by it so quickly. Games consoles, get away from them. Just, you don't need them. They're not important to you until you've got your free time that you've allocated to it. Bear in mind, I'm not saying work for the rest of like your entire life with every free time you get. Have a social life, have a realistic, expectation of social things. But if you need to focus, just remove the distractions when you need to focus. Your obsession with looking at plugins that you'll never buy. Obviously, I'm the worst for it. I love, and I always go onto their pages, the Good Hurts plugins. I'm going to get a bit sidetracked here, but I love the look of them, and I always think I'll get them one day, and I never do. Anyway, and Do Not Disturb is super important. I've got it on now because I know I'll see one notification, I'll just like, ooh, I forget I'm talking. So if you see any of these in your front room, like in my front room, distraction, it's not optimal. If you're like me, you'll give into TikTok and YouTube and you'll just doom scroll for hours a day. So removing these is super important. As soon as you can't figure out the answer to something, just in general, people usually resort to their comfort zone, which is in my case my phone, because life's easy in there. Content makes itself. It doesn't, provide anything to your life, but it's fun. It's TikTok. Like if you could tell me like the last 5 TikToks that you watched, I'll give you £50. Like without looking up, just if you can tell me list off exactly which 5. And if you do, you're lying because you don't. Once all these steps have been followed, you'll be in a position to write down the tasks that you need to complete and get through your pathway. So each step doesn't harbour immediate results, like if you're sending off emails and stuff, but you need to be proactive in just doing something. Opportunities won't come to you, you will have to seek them out. For example, the radio career, the set of tasks could be, send 5 emails to radio stations, just asking for some advice. You could create an account on social media that allows you to cater, or that caters for people in radio, as an example. You can research some of your weaknesses, like we did in the SWOT analysis. You can break those down and kind of improve your knowledge on those things. They'll all be different depending on the route you take, but ultimately, if you can craft that pathway using critical analysis, the world's your oyster. It really is. Delete League of Legends first rule. That's one for you, Greg, as well. Yeah, card tournaments absolutely take precedent over girlfriend, for sure. Anyway, so it's all well and good thinking, yay, optimism, this is going to be the best thing ever, woo, yay. What do we do when things go wrong? So there are going to be times when you're going to get hit with rejection, and it sucks. It really sucks. Before I started going freelance, I sent out over 100 emails. I did this in my last talk last year, and I just said, like, I sent out all these emails, and it was just rejection, rejection. Half the time they just didn't even reply. One of them was like, oh, maybe. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. I'm going to get it. No. That sucks. It's one of those things that happens. So what can you do when this all kind of kicks off and it's not all going to plan? Refer back to your original aim. Those things that we wrote down about what you wanted to do, why you wanted to do, and that thing that ignited that flame in your heart is what you want and have to look back at. That is going to be the thing that will motivate you to go, you know what, this is why I want to do it. I'm going to persevere and I'm going to drive through this because it's so important to me. Are you still happy with your plan? You can change it. If you go through this and you think, you know what, radio isn't really what I wanted to do. It's not what I expected it to be. With those really early morning starts, they're just not suited for me. Just as an example, you might find them with other bits and pieces, but you can change your plan. It's not set in stone. You have free will. You are human. You can change these things. So, are you still happy with that? That's still the most important question. So, do you need to adapt your current pathway? Exactly the same thing. You can change it if you need to. You can make different decisions as you go, provided it leads to the result that brings you the most happiness. Because ultimately, that's what this whole thing's about, just being happy and following your heart and what you want to do. It is a job, sure, but as long as you're happy working, you won't work a day in your life.